Um, this is still video file, but this is on using Modo 13. The reason I'm doing this separate one is because certain things change when it comes to placement on version 13. Um, uh, in Modo 8 and all the versions before that, 10, 11, not sure if 12, I never worked with 12. 12 and 13 are fairly new. Um, to get to like some of the different areas, um, we normally just use Control Tab, and it just allows you to go into the different interfaces. But in 13, what they did, which is a little bit different, a lot different, is they hid it underneath this between these two tabs. So it's kind of tricky to find unless you go through all these different tutorials. So with that said, I just wanted to show you how to UV the cup that we did on the previous video. So you click in the middle here, and you'll see that there's like all these additional things in here that normally are by using Control Tab on 8. I realized that on some computers, I have a desktop, and usually when it's a lot wider, everything shows. But while I was in class, I had a hard time finding some of these because I guess the real estate on the laptops are not as wide. And there's this little star here. So if you click on it, this is all you see when you have something a lot smaller. Um, I'm still not sure what the plus is. I have to look into what a lot of these other features are. They just add so many different things since the last one. But I know only at for whatever reason that pops up, and then you got the schematic fusion, which fusion is something else that we probably won't go over in this class. Pro render beta, that star means that it's one of those things that not even used just yet in VR also. So some of these are just like on development. This whole new render tab I haven't even explored yet, but it's probably the same deal, game, so for gaming. So in this case, what we basically gonna be working is on UV, and it's kind of interesting. They also have Modo and Model. So Model is basically the interface that we use, and they have always used with everything else. Um, this is a new one, so I think by clicking on this, you're gonna see that you'll see everything. So it seems like they have everything all populated in here. Like you could do UV, you could do the viewport right through here. You have all these different um, things, the camera. So it's not sure what their thought process is that you could possibly do everything within one interface, which I guess some people might like it. I just find it too confusing to have everything all on just the one. Um, I mean, you even have Fusion, which is a totally different way of modeling. It's pretty cool too, but not necessary for what we're doing. So we go back to Model, which is the typical standard. You got the basics and things that, even on the basic one, they introduce edge crease, which is kind of nice. So it does have a lot of additional features, but yet it's still, to me, I think it's buggy. I had a crash on me a couple of times, but it's when you're doing something a little bit, when you have too many things going on. But for the most part, just few experiences that I had, it's not terrible. Um, so let's go to UV here, click on that, and let's just move this over. Let's move this to the side. And actually what we're gonna do, everything else was covered on the previous video. So what I'm doing on this one is just to show you how to at least UV, get to UV, which is the UV maps, and just basically do exactly what we did on the previous video, which just related to UV. So we're going to select on the cup, turn off the sleeve, turn off the lid, and then go to polygons here. All right, and then just select the polygons. All right, here you go. Just this side, because this is where we're actually going to put the logo on. So we're just selecting the front part of the cup. You might not even need to select this bottom line. I just do it because just in case we start to want to do anything in addition. But let me just get rid of this. So this is good enough because our logo is gonna go somewhere around here, right in the middle. So if you go on the right hand side here, just drag this up a little bit. You got properties, channel, and list. List is what we want to go to generate the UV map. They have a weight map, UV map, morph map. Morph is more for animations and particle effects and so on and forth. But this particular one, UV map, if you open this up, you click on new. In the bottom here, we had this is a file that I previously used, so some of these are already pre-made, but I just want to show you how to do on 13. So click new map, and then we'll call this, let's say cup. I'm just gonna put the 13 so that it's from version 13, and now we have an assigned name for the specific UV that is going to be used for this front side of the cup, and it's going to populate on this side. So then on the left hand side over here, you're going to see project. So there's different ways of projecting the UV. We're going to use what is called project from front view, and this will work with everything that you're going to be doing moving forward. Just click on project front view, just click out, click anywhere in this area, just so that you could just mirror to the other side. So you see now UV is actually created. So control option, let's just move back a little bit so that we could actually see what we created, and then control tab 4, no, control shift 4, control, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm actually even forgot. All right. 1 second. Okay, there you go. It's just taking a screenshot of this. So that's Command Shift 4. Just forgot that command for a second. So Command Shift 4, what it does is actually Command Shift 4, right? Command Shift 4 allows you to, take a screenshot of specific areas instead of being the whole entire. I think Command Shift 5 does the whole entire screen. Command Shift 4, you could actually select where you want, to make the image file that is, so you drag it. There you go. So just did a second one to remember for a second. I kind of got a brain freeze there. It's okay, so that's that. So now let's go back to modeling. So you click back on model, not Modo. It could be confusing. You got model, it just takes you to like everything. So model, we just working on the modeling part. Here you go. So okay, let's select your polygons. Let's go control space front, and then the base cup, which we actually reviewed this on previous videos on naming conventions for the cup and sleeve and lid. So we're just gonna open up the cup. I'm just gonna turn the first two up because this is done from the previous video training, and I'm gonna bring in the render open preview so that you could see the preview as we're working on it. There you go. One other thing is 13 just actually does a little bit of a wacky thing here. As you're working on texturing on Modo 8, and if you happen to open it on 13, it's just gonna give you like this strange effect going on here, and it's because the materials automatically go into match specularity. Is by default because you're going from one version to another. So what I normally do is just click out of this, and then you get what we've been working on. So just click out of that match specularity thing. And now what we're gonna do is actually introduce the logo that we already did the UV. So with that, let's just actually let me just take this out of here for a second, because we don't need this 1 minute. So we're gonna like we did on the previous video, we actually gonna bring in the logo, and we're gonna make it white. So the way you do that is you go into add. So we're gonna add a logo. So you go to add image, load image, and then when you go to load image, you find let me just go to the desktop. We're gonna go to map, and then we're gonna go to cup sleeve. So we just click on the cup art and bring it into Modo. The minute you click on that, it'll come right in, and it'll populate right on screen like this the image you see here. And if you click on it, this little brush, this is how it will look. It'll just pop in on screen. So what you do is then you drop it. Like I want the logo to be white, but I want the background to be green. I mean, eventually we could make this be whatever color you want, so but at least you have your background color selected. So what we do is we activate the white, activate the cup art, and then you just drag it. Let's just turn this match specularity off for the white. Bring this into logo color, and you see now it turn white. And I'm gonna if you click on here where it says inverse, because sometimes it usually comes in this way. So like if you drop, depending how you bring in your black plate, is gonna translate how you bring it. But if you want to reverse, the plate, this inverse button would inverse to, to what you see here now. So I mean, this is these are different things that you could do, and so when you're adjusting, and the same thing is that you could clone this logo and just change from white to a different color, so you could have layers of or you could just even select the cup base and clone it and just ship, create a stack of different colors that you could turn on and off. Like, you could have a red cup with a yellow logo, a blue cup with a light blue logo, and they could all be staggered here, just and easy accessible. And you could just have multiple different designs. Like if you're doing a design presentation of a specific project and you want to show the client different variations, you could have everything within minutes done in here, and you could have different camera views and have your client review. So this is a very nifty thing. So now that we have that done, and you can check here and straight. Well, that was actually for whatever reason. Okay, here you go. So you have the different camera angles that we worked on as well. So now we are actually going to introduce the sleeve, right? So that we could actually put a logo as well. Let me just go to sleeve, sleeve, dark green. Let's turn this off. Let's go to the green. Let's turn off match specularity so that we can have the same green. And we'll do the same exact thing that we did. Let me just move to this side. Let me move this to the side. Go to items list. You got the sleeve. Let's just turn off cup. And then right underneath here, let's go back to UV. And so you're gonna have your make sure this is on front view. If it's in any other way, remember control space. Let's go to front view. Let's set this to reflection so that we can know what we're doing. And then what we do is we'll select these polygons here. And then you go to UV, say new map. I'm gonna call this sleeve 13. Right? Okay. And then just go here on the left hand side where it says project. You want to project from the front view. So click anywhere here and you automatically gonna get just like we did before. an image of the front view of the sleeve. Command Shift 4, go in here and just take a snapshot. What I forgot to do, now I know what I forgot to do. Okay, let's go back to Modo. We did on the previous video, I mean, we were going over just the UV in here, but what I forgot to mention was like, okay, so how do you bring in the logo? We obviously open it, but before we do that, we open in Photoshop. We'll open these screenshots that we actually took a snapshot of. Open them up, and then actually where it says image size, you want to make sure it's nice. Even if it's 10 by 10, it's a nice size, but make sure the resolution is at least 300 so you get a nice sharp visual. And then we're gonna open up, let's open up the one that I previously loaded up for the cup was pre-made for version 8, so I sort of skipped that part by accident. So let's say we have this logo that we found, we open it up, we drop it into let's go back to Photoshop layers. Let's just bring this down a little bit, so you bring the opacity down so you know how to place. So the grid in the back that you took a snapshot of, it's actually showing like the position of the cup, so we just want to center it somewhere in the middle. So right now we have this logo and it's in a white background, so it's kind of hard to figure out like the position, so I just brought the opacity down to at least 13. Then we move in this, you know, somewhere in the middle, and we'll test it. And if you want to scale it, make it smaller, you know, this is how you do it. And then just bring the opacity back up. Then in this case, you go in Photoshop, and then you save as, and then you create your map. Under map, you create a folder. So you have a folder that you save your model, called model, and then map. This is where you map all your images, and then you have the individual folders based on where you're mapping it to. In this case, we're gonna map it to the sleeve, so we'll call it sleeve art PSD, so that you could have the layers. Just in case you want to move things around a little bit or scale, you keep the layer. Then once to save, resave it, the one we're gonna map into the model, and just save it as a JPEG, PNG, any of those will work, right? And then we'll bring that into 3D. Let me just close out of this. No need to save it because we did that before. Let me just bring in preview. So you'll see in preview what we wind up doing previously here was we created, let me just turn this match specularity. So we created different colors. We had like a dark green, and then we had this light green. The light green was for the actual sleeve, and then we have the dark just to make the logo a little dark, just a little darker than the actual sleeve itself. So you go again, you go to add layer, image map, load the image, go into the sleeve folder and just get the JPEG and bring it in, which I did previously here. So once it's brought in, it's just gonna fall in position. I created a previous UV and how you know where they're at, just in case you ever had these problems. UV locator. So you see the UV locator that we created for the sleeve. Previously, when I did on 8, I had named it sleeve 2, so it fell in the position we wanted. We did a new one for 13 just for this exercise, and it'll probably be done here too. So if you go to sleeve 13, it's just going to be probably similar. So he's not making any changes because we dropped it pretty much in this. We used the same exact settings. So so these are almost identical. I just renamed them just so that to some degree. So now what we do is we get the material that is darker here. You grab the sleeve. You grab this sleeve and just put it right on top of the green button, and it automatically goes inside of it. Is so it's like it goes inside of this specific layer, and as you can see there now, if you click on the actual art and you inverse, you get the same effect, so you could bring it back. But we wanted it this way so we could have like a tone on tone. Okay, so with that said, I think this covers the UV for 13. And you'll have both the cup and the lid, the sleeve UV with the logos on it. I think this will actually serve you as a reminder. You have all these different tools, and like I said, there's plenty of tools here. We just working with a few, and you see how much we had done. Just envision this being on any of your products. You have all these tools that we just went over. I know it was a short period of time to go over a lot of these, and you guys are doing great just to remembering a lot of what you already know. Will serve and help for any or most of the packaging needs that you guys are working on. All right, so in the next video we will actually render these, and again I'm making them short so that it's easier to just kind of keep track of them. All right, so good luck. Thanks.